Do you ever feel like people don't respect the first response you give them? Let me set the scene for you. So it's a Tuesday night and your friend hits you up and says, hey, I want to go get drinks tonight. Are you down? Let's go to happy hour. And you get this text and you know that you have a huge exam tomorrow or you have a really important interview to go to. So you respond and say, hey, I'm so sorry, I can't make it out tonight. I have a really important event in the morning and I just can't make it tonight. Can we do another night maybe? And they hit you with, come on, one drink won't hurt. Don't be lame. Come on, come out. And you politely decline. Now that you're off the call, you realize, oh my God, a boundary has just been crossed and I don't know how I feel about it. Now you're starting to get into like this second guessing type of motion. All of these thoughts start running through your head. Wait, is this person gonna be upset with me because I said no? Oh my gosh, okay. Well, now I'm second guessing my event in the morning because I explained it to them and they didn't think it was that important. And last but certainly not least, why in the world am I feeling guilty now? And maybe I should just call them back and say yes? I don't know, maybe I should just go? I know for a fact we have all been there and it's more common than you think. Let's just get right into why you feel this way and what exactly it means. Hi guys, I'm Bina Rae. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. We are back with another Feel Good Friday where we come together and talk about something that might make us nervous or a little bit, you know, scared to talk about, and we turn it into something that is positive and it makes us feel good. So welcome, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Let's get right into this because this is a topic that is so important and relevant in my life right now, and I just felt like sharing it with you guys. What exactly is boundary setting? Well, by definition, setting boundaries is the process of self-awareness and self-reflection. That is a great place to start because that is telling us a whole lot about what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I'm going to be going over with you guys basically my steps of how I've been setting boundaries in my life, what it means to set a boundary, and how to get through it and how to navigate when somebody disrespects your boundaries. I know it can be overwhelming sometimes, but I got you, bestie. We're gonna get right through this and hopefully you will feel a little bit better about setting boundaries with the people that you love, because at the end of the day, if they love you and respect you, they will have no problem with your boundaries. So now that we went over what exactly setting boundaries is, we need to know how to figure out when we're not good at setting boundaries, because just because we know what it is doesn't mean we'll see all the red flags in ourselves and in others. While I feel like I always knew what setting boundaries was, I always kind of knew like, oh yeah, like people set boundaries for themselves, or, you know, literal boundaries. I guess I never realized how bad I was at setting these until I started having some of my recent experiences, and right away I was like, something is wrong. The way that I was able to figure out how poorly I set boundaries was I recently decided, obviously on my journey to setting boundaries and to having more healthy boundaries with the people that I love, I recently came to someone and I was like, hey, I know things have been different in the past, but these are my current boundaries. You know, I hope that you can respect them. And this person literally came back to me and was like, nope, I'm not going to be respecting those because I don't agree with them. Your girl had an epiphany on that day that I knew something was wrong, and I knew that I needed to change something. I needed to sit with myself and kind of realize, okay, this person giving me this response, what exactly does it mean? And how do I move forward from it? It was almost like a light bulb went off, and it was like, Bina, red flag, red flag, red flag. This person does not care about you as much as you think, as much as you're caring about their feelings, because you have enough love and compassion to be like, hey, again, I know things have been different in the past, but this is what I'm changing, and I would love for you to respect it as well. They clearly don't have the same respect and love for me. So keep that in mind when you're setting boundaries with people, because that is essentially what they're telling you. I like to look at the relationships that I have around me and say, okay, what am I putting into this relationship? What are they bringing to this relationship? And how are we making this work together? And if one of us has a boundary that the other doesn't agree with, how can we get to a common ground? Again, it's all about balance and not, you know, being so cut and dry and just cutting everybody off. There are going to be certain boundaries that you set that you're like, this is clear cut, this is absolutely non-negotiable, and that's okay too. Overall, knowing what a boundary is a great place to start, and setting small boundaries with the people around you, because if you can't do it with the people that are closest to you, when you get in contact with coworkers and bosses and they're pushing you to do more work, or they're asking you to do something that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, you're not going to have the ability, or you're not going to feel equipped with the right language to set those boundaries with these people and be like, hey, I did extra work on X, Y, and Z, and that's why I can't get this to you today. Can I maybe get it to you tomorrow? That's a healthy way of navigating a boundary with other people, instead of just being like, nope, this is what I'm saying and I'm not going to agree with you, so you need to move on. There again, it's a lot of understanding and coming to a common ground and agreement that everyone feels comfortable with. Now that we have gotten through exactly what a boundary is and we kind of understand it a little bit better, right? I hope you guys are following along. I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, please give this video a huge thumbs up. I actually tried something very different with this video and I want to know if you guys like it, so make sure to give it a thumbs up while you're watching. But now that we know what a boundary is, how in the heck are we supposed to set them with people? Oh my gosh. That gives me anxiety just thinking about it. Sometimes setting a boundary is scary, and that is okay. But what I want to start off with, you guys, is this very important quote that kind of sets up the tone for me when I think about my boundaries. So the quote reads, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. I'm sure at some point or another we've all heard this quote, and I love relating this quote specifically back to boundaries because it just works so perfectly. And the reason that it works so perfectly is you really need to understand the boundary that you're setting, and you really need to know within yourself why you're setting the boundary, why that boundary is important to you. Because let me tell you, bestie, when you set that boundary with someone, they are going to come back with why your boundary is stupid, why your boundary is not valid, and why your boundary is not good enough reason for you not to be giving that person whatever it is they're requesting from you. I'm telling you right now, you do not want to be shaking in your boots and second guessing. Again, just like the first example I gave you guys, you don't want to be wondering like, okay, well, you know, maybe I can just go out for one drink. I know it's only, you know, a couple of hours of my night, you know, instead of studying for that exam or getting ready for that really important interview, I'm gonna just go ahead and go out because I don't want to set that boundary and I don't want to make that other person upset. That is exactly what people are going to try to do, and you have to know why you're setting that boundary within yourself, and nothing can change your mind. And that is how you're going to start off on a healthy road to setting boundaries with people, by being very firm and confident in your reasoning. Because again, they are going to come at you with X, Y, Z. They're going to come at you with the whole alphabet telling you why you need to do what they're asking you to do. Now let's get into who these boundaries are for and who they might apply to in our lives. So we'll start off easy. So that is friends, some family members like cousins, uncles, things like that, co-workers, bosses, and dare I say it, parents. Let me say it again for the people in the back. Parents do not get a pass, and I am very passionate about this. I know that parents, the P word, can be very difficult. I know some people are cringing across the screen for me right now, and if that's you, that is okay. I want to let you know that it took me a long time to get to the place where I'm at right now, where I feel comfortable setting boundaries with people. And if they don't agree with those boundaries, I have to look back and I have to see over the span of whatever relationship I'm evaluating and really understand what it is that I would be willing to give up in order for that person to be made happy because I'm not setting my proper boundaries. But let me let you in on a little tiny secret. Anyone, and I truly mean anyone, I don't care who it is from that list that I just mentioned, anyone that does not respect your boundaries does not have the same level of care, love, and respect for your feelings as you do for theirs. And I say that confidently because I've had enough experiences with people that have made me second guess my boundaries. They've made me second guess what I'm telling them. Like something as small as, hey, when we're gonna meet up, please don't be late. Or, hey, when we do go somewhere, I would appreciate if we had an itinerary. Small things, even to much larger things where certain topics are brought up in conversation that you don't feel comfortable talking about with that person because you know that your values and ideologies differ, and that's okay. This video is not about, you know, having people in your life that are the exact same as you and think the exact same and treat everybody the exact same as how you treat people. No, what I'm saying is, do I care and love this person enough to set a boundary and say, hey, this is what I'm not willing to tolerate from you, or hey, I don't think we should be getting into this type of conversation because I feel like it might lead to a road in which we won't have a relationship anymore, and I care about this relationship, so I want to remain in a harmonious relationship with you, and talking about X subject is going to lead us to the opposite of that. So is that okay if we both just agree to disagree on this topic and don't bring it up? If the answer is yes, great, you are on a great track. But if the answer is no, things get a little more muddy. And I'm going to tell you how to kind of navigate that, how to navigate when someone disrespects your boundary or is just plain rude and mean whenever it comes to you saying like, hey, this is how I feel about it. And it's not as difficult as you may think. We're trekking along, and I'm so proud of you guys for sticking this long in the video because it means that you're learning and you want to learn this. So the last part of this video, and honestly the most important part of this video, is learning how to navigate when someone disrespects your boundaries, because like I mentioned in the beginning, people are going to do it. People are waiting for the opportunity to disrespect your boundary and make you feel like you are not important enough to have that boundary set. And let me tell you right now, bestie, that is not true. You are important and your boundaries are very important. So let's get into how to navigate that, because it's gonna happen and we need to be prepared. Okay, I know that we are now at the part where it's the action taking part. I'm gonna give you guys the tips and the tools to get through when someone disrespects your boundary. I know it seems a little bit overwhelming. I know that it seems scary, but I'm here to remind you guys that this is a journey and you are on a journey to learning about yourself and setting boundaries that work with your new self. So don't worry, I will be here the whole way, and I don't want you guys to get nervous or click off the video because you're like, oh no, she's gonna tell me to do something. I promise it's not that bad. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. It's still scary for me to set boundaries, but I'm at a place where the nervousness of setting a boundary almost excites me because I get to prove to myself that I've learned enough and grown enough to set that boundary. So typically the way that I see my relationships with people is I never want to make someone feel uncomfortable. And if you're watching this video learning about boundaries, I think it might be safe to assume the same for you as well. We never want to make people feel uncomfortable or, you know, cross that line, because why would you want to make another person feel uncomfortable or make them do something that they don't want to do, or just in overall in general making someone feel like they can't trust in you because you're not willing to respect their boundaries. Having that understanding for other people makes us look at things differently. So we also need to look at things from our perspective as well as from the other side, because that's going to allow us to have a better overall understanding of what it means to set a boundary and how we're able to do it effectively. My first piece of advice when someone disrespects your boundary, if you need to take a step back because you're upset from the situation, absolutely do that. But the first thing I want you to do is tell that person directly, hey, you just crossed a boundary that I am not comfortable with. And you need to explain to them your reasoning one more time. Give them one more opportunity, but give them that opportunity. Let them know how it makes you feel and let them know that that is unacceptable and you will not tolerate it. Make sure to reiterate your boundary. Do not give people the option or the opportunity for later on down the line for them to be like, oh, but I misunderstood you. Oh no, we're not doing no misunderstanding here. Make it very clear. And again, this takes back to the first part where you have to understand and really know why you're setting that boundary. It's going to be very important for this step because if you start second guessing yourself a little bit too early, you're just going to end up giving in and not setting the boundary that you want to set. So make sure that you have it on lock of why you want that boundary to be set and why you're not going to accept anything less. The second thing that we're going to do once someone disrespects our boundary is evaluate the relationship that we have with this person. Are they bringing anything to the table? Do I feel happy around them now that I know that they are not respecting of my boundaries? Does this mean that you are gonna feel different with them? Do you trust them? You know, something that's also very important to know once someone does disrespect your boundary, is this relationship important enough to continue with the understanding that this person is going to continuously disrespect and disregard any and all further boundaries? That is going to be the hardest part of this because that's where you really have to think about all of the things that this person has done to you or has said to you or has disrespected about the boundaries that you want to set. This is definitely something that I would suggest giving yourself time for. Don't just make a rash decision because someone was rude and you're upset and now you're just like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Allow yourself that time. Allow yourself that time to feel your feelings, to kind of go through everything. You know, maybe talk to a friend about it. Maybe talk to your partner about it and go through everything before you make that decision, because this last part is going to be, you know, the determining factor, honestly. Like thinking about all of these things, going over it in your head and really understanding what it means is ultimately going to determine whether you keep this person in your life or you don't keep this person in your life. And when I say that, it doesn't mean forever, but it can mean forever. If you have enough of a track record from this person disrespecting, disregarding, and not having compassion for you and not giving enough in the relationship to where it even makes sense anymore to continue the relationship, you can definitely kick them out of your life, okay? I'm giving you permission to do that. If you feel like this relationship does not bring you joy anymore, maybe take that person out of your life for a specific amount of time. Maybe take them out forever and just be like, I'm done with you. But I think it's also healthy to communicate that to that person and give them one last chance to redeem themselves. I think life is all about growing and allowing people to, you know, depending on how important they are to you, allowing people that last chance to see if they're meant to be in your life for a reason or just for a season, okay? Of all of the things that I've mentioned today, you really just need to remember that you're doing this for yourself. You are doing this because you want your overall life to be a good life. You want to have a happy life and not always be tiptoeing around people or feeling like you can't really express yourself because they've shown you in the past that they don't respect your boundaries. All of this at the end of the day is to make sure that your mental health is good and to make sure that you have a happy life. You're gonna have to live with the decision. So whatever decision you make sure it's gonna make you happy, because that's what this is all about. It's not about making you alone and miserable. It's about really understanding the people that you have around you and maybe understanding that sometimes people have run their course, you know, through your life, and that's okay. That is really okay. And there are always going to be people coming in and out. But at the end of the day, as long as you stay true to yourself, you're going to overall be really, really happy. Okay, so you made it. I'm so proud of you, bestie, for taking this time to focus on you and to focus on something that is, again, going to make your whole life better, because you are only going to be having people in it that love you and care about you so much that they will respect those boundaries of yours. I'm so happy that you took this time today to spend with me. I always appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Please let me know if you guys like this type of content down below. We are going to be starting a brand new segment next week. It is going to be Feel Good Fridays, but it's going to be a gay edition. Gay. Pride Month is right around the corner and I cannot wait for it to start. I hope you guys are pumped for it, because I got a lot of good gay content for you guys and I think we're gonna have a really good time. So make sure you guys subscribe before you go, so that the next time I upload a video, I can see your beautiful face and you can see mine. I love you guys so much for watching. Set those boundaries. I will see you guys next time. Bye.